PSG starting 11 cost 450 million, by the way. Yeah, Declan Rice cost 1/4 of that. And by the way, Vitinha, we went to Porto. We went all the way to Porto and went, you know what? Yeah. We don't want that Portuguese lad, mate. You see him? You see that Portuguese lad? His name's Vieira. Oh, yeah, we'll have him. We had Vieira before. We'll have him. Do you know how much he cost more than Vieira? 5 million.
It was at Wolves as well, wasn't
it?
5 million.
See, this comes down to the stem cause of the problem, doesn't it? You know, we've heard about we haven't had the options on the bench. You know, we've got limited choice when players are injured. Well, it comes down to the manager and the football club because.
And all the injured. Sorry, DJ. So very quickly. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but real quick, all the players that we have out injured, none of these fans want them anyway. Jesus, right. 29. Half the fan base don't want him.
I mean,
let's be real, because now flavour of the month's Mikel Merino. So and nobody was calling for Jesus to start games. Let's be real with it. Yeah, Tomiyasu, everyone's forgotten about him. Yeah, so let's not pretend like all these players. Yeah, Gabriel, cool. Yeah, Gabby obviously is our best defender. Yeah, but let's not pretend. Yeah, and Calafiori is a liability anyway. That guy can't defend. Yeah, so let's not pretend like Calafiori would have started anyway. Let's not pretend like Jesus starts. Yeah, they're sat on the bench, so the names on the bench look sexier. They're still not going to play.
What are you talking about? You're a hypocrite.
This is what I'm trying to say. The root cause of the problem is that the club has not done the right thing in the areas we needed to do. If this club is going to win premierships and Champions League, the signings under this manager has not been good enough. Pure and simple. Fabio Vieira, not good enough. Paid too much money for him. The list will go on and on and on and on and on. And what have we got to do now in the summer? We've got to get rid of players. We've got to bring 5-6 players in and start all over again. And this is
what I'm hearing.
And we've got to start all over again when this manager has had a process and millions of pounds spent on it.
DJ,
you know what I'm hearing?
I'm hearing. DJ, quick question for you then. Is it the manager that's the problem or is it the recruitment?
They're blaming the
managers. I understand the recruitment. I think the manager has had a lot to do with the recruitment. They're his signings. They are his signings.
Thank you.
He has the final say. His words.
Yeah, but he's still
his words.
He doesn't force the club to sign Isaac. He doesn't force the club to sign Ollie Watkins in the summer.
No, do you know why? Because he's comfortable winging it on 15 million a year, mate.
You guys pick and choose your arguments, and
the argument is 5 years without a trophy, mate.
Well, you're right that we need better, but in the same breath, you're saying we need better squad depth, we need better players. But then when the manager's saying, you know what, yeah, I agree with you guys. That's why I don't trust certain players. You're getting mad. It's kind of crazy.
Who chose the players, Egal? Yes or no question. Did Mikel Arteta choose to sign Calafiori over signing a striker or a right winger when we knew we needed to sign him? Did Mikel Arteta choose to sign Havertz for 65 million when we needed to blah, blah, blah? Did Mikel Arteta was the one who told Sesko, I can't guarantee you game time over Havertz? Wasn't Mikel Arteta also the one that said, oh, I'm going to spend 100 million on getting more left backs because I need to shore that up and I need a backup keeper and I need another defender? Mikel Arteta is the one who's choosing all the players that he wants to sign, and he's choosing all the players he wants to get rid of. I cannot believe that Arsenal fans do not think that Arteta is the one who is choosing these players. That is absolute crap. He's a dictator in this club. He chooses who he wants. He chooses who goes out. If you do not follow his rules, it's over. Aubameyang.
So Arteta chose not to bring in. Arteta chose not to bring in an attacker in the January window. No, he did not.
100%.
No, he did not.
He never had the money to bring in an attacker.
No, he did not. Bro, he did not choose to not bring in anybody.
Is that he could have bought a fucking proper striker with the 80 million he wasted on Calafiori and Mikel Merino? He could have bought Gyökeres buyout clause.
Honestly, that type of excuse, I cannot. I don't.
He could have got Isak when he gave Eddie Nketiah 100 grand a week and another contract.
Exactly. and DJB, Kenny Ken was talking about how all of these players are fringe players, but Arteta was
You guys know he got. You know the club told him. You guys know the club told him Isak wasn't worth what he was worth in January.
Who told you that?
He was then, was he?
Who told you that? David Ornstein.
That's
Hang
not
on,
it, yeah.
hang on.
Who told you that? David Ornstein.
Isak wasn't one fit, but we're
The Athletic, David Ornstein. Thank you.
No, but that's fine. Egal, even if we made a mistake on Isaac,
David
it's
Ornstein
fine.
told
But
us we kept good
Mohamed Kudus
relations for
told me other
Caicedo and then
players.
brought Rice instead.
All right. So
Arteta
you guys
chooses
are
who he wants,
you guys are all
and he
sitting
doesn't
here.
want.
You guys all sitting here saying it's over, 1-0 down. We're not
No,
going to
that's
pair.
not what
Well,
we're
doing nothing.
saying.
That's
That's not
none
what
of
we're
us have
saying,
said
Egal.
that. We've said we don't think we're going for
I have.
I'm saying we should all, if we didn't win that first leg, I think we're out. I think doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We can go through. Yeah, however, I don't think we will get through. The same as I didn't think we'd beat Real Madrid. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not in charge of what happens on the fucking pitch.
Neither am I.
No, and that's my point. Yeah, so you're sitting here having a go at us, because we're spitting with facts. The manager has the final say on transfers. He has the final say on team selection, the final say on who leaves this football club. Any player he's wanted out of this football club, including Mesut Ozil, including Aubameyang, including Pepe, so on and so forth, have gone, mate. They've gone. Guendouzi's another one.
I don't agree with everything that Lee Gunner says, but this I can't say a word because he's absolutely right. And
No, you were spitting facts, bro. You were spitting.
Yeah, bro. The fact that people say that Arteta isn't the one who chooses all this, like,
I don't hold
nonsense,
Arteta accountable to every signing because
No, you don't hold him accountable for anything. Hence 5 years with nothing.
There's certain decisions that are above his head, which we hold him accountable for. Every single piece of the recruitment is not down to Arteta. Every single signing and player that comes into this club is not solely down to Arteta. There is a pecking order, and they do have people ahead of him who tell him, you know what, we don't have the money to get these deals done, or we're not going to get this financially. We don't.
Okay, so on that premise, then let's assume that is the case, and that probably is the case. Yeah, we haven't got the finances because obviously he'll know the budget. Yeah, he'll sit down at the end of last season. He'll go, right, what's the budget? Yeah, they'll have their meeting. We've seen it on All for Nothing when Vinay was making Edu a coffee. Yeah, now he's left. He's gone Spurs. Yeah, well done. Right, but they're all sitting there. They know the budget. They've got the lawyers sat there. They've got the financial guys. They've got all the hierarchy. Josh will be sat there. And obviously, Stan don't know what day it is. Blah, blah, blah. They'll all be sat there, yeah? Now he knows the budget's 80 million quid. Yeah, because that's what he's spent. Yeah, I know we're not spending that out in one go. The budget is this, Mikel. We need to balance the books a little bit. PSR, we're a little bit close to it. According to the Athletic, your mate, Ornstein, right? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So, yeah, okay, well, Isak's a little bit off the radar then. Yeah, Gyökeres, well, we could do that, but that might leave us short in other areas if we blow all of our load on that. So why don't you go and buy a striker that's cheaper then? Why don't you go and buy a striker that is cheaper? You don't have to go and do 80 million.
Someone, Lee.
Thank you.
Imagine
why don't you go and say Ivan Toney, who, by the way, is in their version of the Champions League final and scored in his semi-final yesterday, by the way. Firmino also scored. Mahrez, baller. Yeah. All three of them we could have had. The Galeno also went from Porto, I think it was, for 50 million euro in January. Their front four is better than ours. Yeah, and they're in the final. And they're going to win that final. Yeah, Ronaldo's team got dunked on today. Bye-bye. And the team they beat to get to that final, by the way, my Saudi generals, yeah, was the best team in fucking Saudi. The Real Madrid of Saudi. They beat them in their own backyard, battered them. Yeah. So guess what? We could have got Ivan Toney for 40 million. Yeah, we could have gone and got Mahrez for 30 million. Yeah, we could have gone and got Galeno for 40 million.
Rafinha,
yeah, we could have got Firmino for fuck all. Why don't we go and get him? False nine, yeah, with our wingers. He did it with Mane and Salah. Couldn't bring him off the bench,
we could have gone Osimhen before he went to Turkey because he wasn't even that much. We could have gone Vlahovic. We could have gone Gyökeres when nobody was in for him last summer. There was a lot of options. A lot.
Could have got Elise for 45 million.
There isn't options. Or the market was flat. Like, come on.
There were so many players out there last summer, and all I kept hearing from people like Egal and people like AFTV, oh yeah, well the striker market's dead. No, it's not. No, it's not, because now look how many strikers you lot are gassing up. Gassing up striker left, right. Oh, we need a striker. Well, hang on. When I was offering strikers up, yeah, I was getting told, nah, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Ivan Toney was round the corner. That was the most obvious deal in the world, mate. 40 minutes. Hey, he's got an attitude problem. Oh, do you know that, do you? Because one of my pals, his best mates, and went to school with him, mate. He ain't got an attitude problem. He's loving life in Saudi. He ain't had no problem with their manager. Which, by the way, their manager did a double at Salzburg in his first full season. He had them retain the title the second season. Now, yeah, he's in the Champions League final. Yeah, in his second full season. Yeah. Yeah, come on, what we doing here? Yeah, it don't take time. Proof again. Andy's younger than Super Duper Mick. Andy's got nice drip. Is he the best looking German we know? Conte has got Billing. Yeah, you know Billing that was at Bournemouth? He's got Billing as one of his forwards. He's got Lukaku. Well, we could have got him. He was around the corner. Yeah, he scores goals. Yeah, they've got Scott McTominay on double digits this season and Billy Gilmore. He's top of the league by 3 points. What phase is he in? Yeah, they finished 8th last season.
Phase 5.
This guy.
Lads, let me read these.
They won the league 2 years ago.
I'm doing the damn pots roll tonight. I got to fit these in at some point.
They won the league.
You're doing all right, mate. You're doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing all right. You're a good host, mate.
I think I was here. Vanter White says buying players is useless with a manager like this. The Cuddle for Life says if Arteta has balls, he will take captaincy off of Hairflick for the away leg or at least drop him. Brooklyn Guna says if it's a game-winning penalty and Odegaard has to take it, are you confident he will score? I'm not. We saw it against United.
Pillow foot. Just get Rice on it. Slap it on Jamal now.
Worst captain, big up Lee talking facts. AK4P says, talk about Odegaard now, Egal. Keep Foden's name out your mouth and you deserve this loss against PSG. Hold that. Chris says, small margins, go Specsavers, check your minces.
If I'm not mistaken, we lost by one. If I'm not mistaken, we lost by 1 goal. And everyone's acting like we didn't have chances.
Cook, Egal.
No, I think
Jason McNeil being Q Egal is curtains.
Hey, that's what that tifo was. That was a curtain, wasn't it? A shower curtain.
Mikel can't handle personalities. He wants control.
Can I address something towards Egal? I think Egal, it's not that we are thinking that we're out of the tie. Of course, we're not out of the tie. I think for me personally, I'll speak for myself. My frustration is that I knew this was how this was going to pan out. Since February 3rd, when we didn't sign someone, we already knew how this was going to pan out. It started panning out. It started going to shit. We already knew Saka was going to be rushed back because the season was absolutely going to be an embarrassment if we didn't beat Madrid. So I already knew Saka was going to come back. And I won't be surprised if we make the final, if Havertz somehow finds his way into this team. So I think the frustration for me is that we've known these mistakes. We've been covering it up. We've known we can't create. We know we play this horseshoe type football. We don't play through and direct. And the problem is the bench is weak. Arteta's doing miracles, but we are the cause of all our own mistakes. And for me personally, I don't think Arteta is leaving this summer. And I see all his weaknesses and I see all the mistakes, but I also see a lot of good things that he's done for the club because as the Arsenal fan, I haven't competed like this at the top for this many years, this consistently. And that's from my perspective. The gentlemen on the panel are a bit older, so they've seen Arsenal before. For me, this has been enjoyable. So I give props to Arteta. It's not like Arteta has done a lot of things wrong, but I don't believe that as Arsenal fans, we cannot look at the coach and say, hey, you've done great. I love you for it, but you've also made mistakes and you need to improve on those mistakes because if you don't, we are not going to move as a club. So there's two sides to it.
You're absolutely spot on there. See, I said this to Egal the other day. With me, Kenny, and DJ. Yeah, I don't know how old Christian and Egal are, so maybe you did see it. Yeah, maybe you are that age. We've seen us beat Real Madrid before, and probably you have as well, African Goonie. Yeah, but we've seen us beat Real Madrid. We've seen us get to a Champions League final. Yeah, Kenny, you were there.
So was I.
Yeah, so was DJ. You were at the final. Yeah, we've seen us get Champions League semi. Yeah, this is our 3rd Champions League semi. Yeah, we've seen us get past Villarreal and get to the final. We've seen us get absolutely walloped by Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez. Yeah, and now we're in 1 now and we're 1-0 down. We've seen us finish second 3 times in a row under Wenger. We've seen us win major honours. This ain't new to us. We've seen better players than we have now. You guys, Kenny and DJ, you're a little bit older, yeah? You've seen us get to 4 finals on the spin with Terry Neal, and the manager got potted. 4 finals. This manager's got to 1. Yeah, well, they soon got him out because they were all marching down the road to get him out down the town hall, if I remember rightly quoting Jezza. Yeah, and they all got him out, and now it's a whole new concept. And listen, you can't help when you're born, yeah? Right, but at the same time, I just feel like, yeah, this is the best version of Arsenal some people have seen. Yeah, but we ain't fucking won nothing. The aim of the game, we all laugh at Tottenham because they don't win nothing. You better hope and pray, yeah, right, that they don't win that Europa League if we don't win this Champions League. Yeah, and what will happen is if they do win that Europa League, they're now in the fucking Super Cup final. Yeah, they'll probably get banged in that. They'll probably get banged in the final anyway, if they get to the final. My point is if they win that Europa League and we don't win this Champions League, how are you spinning that? How are you spinning that? But look at where they finished in the league. Nobody cares. We've seen us finish 10th and win 2 cups in the same season. Nobody cared about 10th. Nobody cares. Did you win trophies? Man United win it. That's 3 in a row, mate. 3 years in a row. They're 15th. Nobody cares. They're now back in the Champions League and they've got a cup to show for it. Yeah?
Spurs are not winning the Euro.
Well, you want to hope they don't, mate.
They don't.
Let's also be honest.
They're just not solid enough. They're just not solid enough to win it. And same way how people would say they don't rate Arsenal. I just don't think Spurs are going to win it.
But you want to hope they don't.
As for some of the stuff that you guys have said, I don't think Martin Odegaard is going to get dropped in the next game, and I don't think it's going. I don't think he has the options to go and say, you know what, let's drop our captain going into one of the biggest games in our recent years. Number one. Number two, I don't think Arteta is getting sacked in any way or form off the back of us losing to PSG in the second leg, or even if you get to a final and we don't win. Regardless what happens, Arteta is going to see out another year, and they're going to give him an opportunity to go and sort out the attack. That is just going to happen. Number three, when it comes to a lot of the issues you guys are speaking about, if I'm not mistaken, Christian, African Gooner, you guys can probably agree with me here also. Some of the issues are down to recruitment and not down to Arteta solely alone. This season, let's be honest, we have I'm not making excuses for injuries or anything like that, but going into a semi-final against a team that's relatively fully fit, or they have no major injuries at all, compared to Arsenal, who have several key players out, and even players you guys don't rate that come off the bench, makes a difference. Kai Havertz as an attacking option off the bench in this game would have made a difference. Partey, if he didn't get the yellow card, would have made a massive difference. Even go as far as to say Jesus coming off the bench and giving us another option would have made a difference. Mikel Arteta, I don't think he sits on his hands for 83 minutes if he has some of those better attacking options available in this game. And if you want to say, you know what, he still had options, he could have done other things, I agree. He could have done other things, but unfortunately he deemed it that it wasn't the right decision at the time, and you know what, he's going to suffer from that. Now, we did lose, and we lost by 1 goal, so it is small margins. Everyone who's saying we got battered, we got bodied, for 20 minutes, and then we kind of recovered from there. And I think going into the game versus PSG at their ground, it's still wide open. The way that we find ourselves in, the way that we resolve some of the issues that we had in the previous game is, one, Thomas Partey is going to be in the 6. He's going to be able he's going to be able to spread the ball around a lot easier than Declan Rice in the 6. Also, we're going to have Declan Rice in the 8, which is going to give us another body who can defend in that final third, so we don't have similar defensive lapses like we did when Ousmane Dembele scored. Because I'm looking at Moreno and I'm looking at Odegaard saying, where were they tracking the runners when Dembele scored his goal? Because that was really down to them not being in the right position. And I don't think Declan Rice is doing anything wrong by helping out Timber in that situation 1v1 versus Kvaratskhelia.
You always love deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. I'm speaking about the actual game instead of speaking about agenda.
No. Well, it's not an agenda, is it? Yeah, my agenda is that Arsenal need to win trophies, mate. That's the aim of the game.